Elden Ring Nightreign is finally here and has proven to be one of the most challenging games of all time, with some of the most ridiculous bosses in the whole of the Souls series. In this video, we'll embark on the journey to get Elden Ring Nightreign's Platinum Trophy, 100%ing the entire game, as well as defeating every boss and ranking them as well. The game begins with a tutorial, showing off the basic mechanics. Funnily enough, this game is the love child of both Elden Ring and Fortnite. There is a map where we can see different locations, a circle which closes in as time progresses, and a looting system too. And in classic Souls fashion, the tutorial ends with a boss, who quickly dispatches me with ease. Following my death, we enter the Round Table Hold, where the maiden tells us she needs our help to take out the Night Lords, who are the main bosses of this game. And for reaching the Round Table Hold, we also earn our first of 37 trophies. These Night Lord bosses are the pinnacle of difficulty in all of the Souls games. In total, there are 8 Night Lords, each having their own trophy tied to them. These Night Lords are thematically unique, each presenting a very different challenge to the next. Our aim is to vanquish each of these 8 bosses whilst also getting the miscellaneous trophies in this game. First of the 8 bosses is Tricephalos, a 3-headed hellhound specializing in fire attacks and a swinging sword, but weak to the holy power of Jesus Christ. In Nightreign, creating your build around these bosses' weaknesses is vital to winning. Speccing in these weaknesses can make or break a boss fight, and in this game the boss runbacks take around 40 minutes. Starting our first attempt, we select the Nightfarer Wilder and fly right into the map, beginning day 1. This game is structured in 3 days. Day 1, you go around the map, earning levels from defeating bosses and enemies, leveling up your flask in churches and gathering gear, with the day culminating in a boss fight in the final circle. Day 2 is more or less the same, where you finish off creating your build and get to the highest level as you can. Day 3 is the Night Lord boss, where you and your teammates take on the big guy. This day started off with us attempting this magic elemental church, where I was carpet bombed by magic, and well, my teammate was too. At the top was a Crystallian, who I quickly smashed to get a drop, where I selected a new sword. Each boss in this game can guarantee a drop, which can vary in rarity. It can be a new weapon, it can be a new ability, it can be a wide variety of things. Nothing else really did happen in this first day, as none of us really knew what to do at all. In the final circle, the first bosses that we found spawned, being the demi-humans. A lot of the bosses from the Elden Ring base game have been recycled here, which is a bit of a bummer, but the game does have some cool returning bosses from the older Dark Souls games. I quickly dispatch Yoda with my big flaming sword, and somehow, despite it being a 3v1, both my teammates down. However, I managed to revive them and we take her down and get the ability to increase blood loss. Starting day 2, we complete an Everjail, taking down the Nox Warriors, taking down a Virgin Abductor, the strange name to be honest, and the Flamed Chariots. I initially thought we were doing well, being at level 9 at the final circle, but boy, was I wrong. For these first few Night Lords, you want to be at least level 12 coming to day 3, so we were kinda doomed. The Tree Sentinel quickly took care of us, and the first attempt was over. Finishing this run, however, we get a relic, which gives us a slight boost for the next run, which can come in very clutch. Equipping this relic, we earn a trophy. On my second attempt, now knowing what to actually do, we get right to it, fighting the Omen at an Everjail, absolutely rinsing him with bleed. The character I equipped here was the Executioner, and he is by far my favourite character in this game. As to be honest, I only used him for the rest of the game. I swear man, this guy with the katanas and the blade build is just so good. However, I actually will need to play every character and get a win on them in order to get this trophy, so I can't really be a one-trick pony here. We take down another boss, being the Royal Revenant, get to the final circle and fight the Bell-Bearing Hunter, another recycled Elden Ring base game boss. This guy actually is no pushover, however, being an absolute tank. Luckily, we just had enough to get over the line here. We get our flasks leveled up, and in day 2, and experience our first random event, being this Space Bird raid. In this game, we will need to get extremely lucky to get 4 raid trophies: Omen, Sentient Pest, Augur, and Equilibrious Beast raids. I really hope none of these do take me 30 hours in the future. Now, onto the final circle. The Fell Omen pays us a visit, but with 3 people he really does become quite free. Moving on to day 3, we get our third trophy for getting the max amount of flasks available. Before entering the boss arena, we upgrade our weapons and get ready, before entering through this psychedelic dimensional doorway. And just a side note, the design in this game of this area is just unreal. Right, here we go. Initially, this boss just has so much aura about it. Kind of reminded me of a Bloodborne boss in a way. His main attacks are biting people in front of him and swinging his big old sword around, which is lodged in his back. And in classic Souls fashion, just sticking to his back worked like a charm. I did make the mistake of straying a bit too far, and my reaction time was not enough to avoid his blade. But now we move on to his second phase, Every Night Lord in this game has a second phase apart from one, but that's kind of a weird boss anyway, where they ramp up into another gear, changing the boss fight entirely. Gladius' second phase consists of him splitting into the 3 wolves inside of him, making it a 3-on-3. The aura and spectacle of this arena changing and the burst of flames into 3 wolves is just so cool, man. But little do they know, inside me there is a wolf too, as I pop my Executioner ult, fire my teammate and sock it to these Black Ops Zombies rejects. Right, well this has gone far better than I expected, to be honest, and in the final stretch I enter wolf mode again. Right, come on, yes man, finally. Bro, I fucking love my team, bro. Let's go. This Tricephalus was actually just such a cool fight. And now for the ranking. For my little criteria I have 3 measurements. Design, fight flow, and then difficulty/balance, it's the same thing. For design, 90%. This guy just has so much aura and is such a cool looking boss. The sword lodged in his back is such a cool addition as well. And yeah man, just this fight with the whole arena, it's so good. For fight flow, again, really good. I'd probably say about an 80%. This guy is a bit slower than the later bosses, but he is definitely a really good beginner boss for this game. And for difficulty and balance, the boss being balanced around having 3 people really did seem fair. I genuinely had no issues with it at all. I'd probably say about a 70%. Overall, this boss ranks about an 8 out of 10, getting himself comfortably in the B tier. Returning to the roundtable hold, we now unlock 2 trophies, one for defeating the Tricephalos and one for unlocking all of the other Night Lords. So far, after my first couple runs, this game is actually kind of a blast. The progression is solid, the gameplay loop is class. The only issue is the matchmaking system because my teammates have been different every time, so I never know how it's actually going to go. Before taking out the next boss, the Gaping Jaw, I decide to unlock 2 more Nightfarers, beginning with the Duchess. To do this, we give her an old pocket watch we obtained from our relics. Doing so begins a cutscene where she takes off her robe and reveals herself to actually be the new Nightfarer. And doing this, we earn a trophy. We also buy a vessel, allowing us to equip different colour set of relics, which earns us our 7th trophy. Now unlocking the final character, the Revenant. We buy a mirror in the shop and go to this painting, where we are then transported to another world. Here is a boss fight. The Revenant is a Nightfarer specialising in spirit summons, so we have to take out these spirits before we get to the Revenant. Come on, take that you little small man. But this big boy hits so hard, what the hell? Right, that's him done. And the big skelly boy, Sebastian, in the back was making this much harder than it should be. But the Revenant took so much damage from a single swing. My backstabs and swings proved to be too much. We take her down and unlock the Revenant and her trophy. Next up, the Gaping Jaw. A gravity-imbued draconic beast with teeth so messed up he looks British. Weak to poison and a menace to toothbrushes, this guy poses a giant threat. Day 1 begins with me, William and Polly flying into the world shaped by the shifting earth, modifications which completely change the game's world, and also have a special reward at the end which we'll need to complete: the crater, the mountain top, the rotten woods and the undead city. 4 or 5 trophies as a whole. We start out by taking out the Oracle Envoys and progress to the main fort, taking out the ancient hero of Zamor, getting some decent weapons and reaching level 7. The final circle on day 1 was a very easy boss. I whipped out my deflecting sword and showed this guy that I platinum Sekiro. And with the first guy dead, we absolutely bullied the second guy and got the win, rewarding me with improved iframes. During day 2, we got raided by the Fell Omen, who only goes after Polly instead of either me or William. Despite how persistent he was, he just couldn't handle being smacked about by a massive wolf. With the 3 of us beating him to death, this earns me my first raid trophy and the 9th overall trophy. Now onto the crater. Running up to the crater, it's just so cool. Colour and the vibe of this area just hits so hard. As we sift through the descending levels to get to the basin, we beat the guards quite quickly and advance to the bottom, where we meet the magma worm. You're a big fella, aren't you, lad? Take that, you big lizard fella. Or stay still, please. The circle's coming in. Oof, there we go, nice. Completing the crater gets us 2 trophies for getting a legendary weapon and finding the secret of the crater. But only just managing to escape the circle, the day 2 boss was yet again a base game boss, the Ancient Dragon. Despite being mega resistant to each swing, we just go underneath him and he can't really do much. And yes, this was a boring fight to be honest, as usually is the case with base game dragon fights. But killing him, we now advance to the Gaping Jaw at level 12, meaning we have a fair chance of beating him. Oh my god, that is a wide jaw. Adele's moveset consists of him using his big old mouth, doing sweeping bites and slamming the ground. The fight is actually going quite well at this point, but as we know, phase 2 exists. And at the start of phase 2, he begins a gravity-powered tantrum, exploding and just becoming manic. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Chill out, man. What the fuck is this fight? Phase 2, he just goes ballistic, and he's so bloody cool. This fight is going quite decent, apart from William becoming his new chew toy. We get him quite low. Come on, die please, man. Shit. Oh, I got too greedy. Right, for the love of God, please do not choke. Right, William's dead. It's all down to you, Polly. Alright, we should be done soon, I think. Oh, she's being chewed. Oh, no, man. Bro, look, he's so close to dying. It's like 2 hits. Fuck's sake, man, I got too greedy. Yeah, I really should have done better there. But now I think it's best to look elsewhere for teams. So I go in the Discord, find 2 American blokes, AK and Pal, and get going. And may I add, this is the start of a generational run. We begin with taking out the Chaos Flame, Troll and an Omen in incredibly quick fashion. Finally here have a team where we can be on cons and be incredibly efficient. In this game, that is literally all you need. Holy shit, it's the Gaping Dragon. Jesus, finally a Dark Souls boss, man. The nostalgia is just reeking out for me, man. Music's just hitting so hard as well. However, he was quite easy, especially with 3 players batting him. We can even chop his tail off and get a random weapon just like in Dark Souls 1. With 3 players, we quickly dispose of him and finish day 1. Day 2, again, was just killing bosses, taking out the Red Mine Knights, Hero of Zamor, and the Crystallians. And in this run, we do so many bosses that we earn our 12th trophy for beating at least 10 bosses in one run. Day 2 finishes off with the Crucible Knight and the Golden Hippo. Neither of these base game recycled bosses pose a challenge and were simply clockwork. Now, rematching the Gaping Jaw. I was aware to not get greedy and be aware of his attacks this time. Luckily, the rivers of blood I got from the run was actually unreal. Phase 2's transition was dealt with well, and somehow I just became a dodging god. The issue was he just kept running away from me. My teammates, both being archers, ensured we were all spaced out, and they did constant poke damage, which with me being quite tanky and having bleed was an excellent combo. Right, come on, almost there. Wolf mode to finish him off. Come on, stagger. And he's dead. Fucking go, man. Good job, guys. I bloody love these American blokes. Truly, they're so good at this game. And also really nice dudes. Completing the Gaping Jaw expedition, we earned our 13th trophy. For ranking the Gaping Jaw on our tier list, the design was so cool. It was a dragon, yes, but the more tanky and manic movement and the big old draw gives it some cool points. Ranking its design at an 85%. The fight flow, for me, was a highlight, as his aggression felt good and he was constantly attacking someone, so he could still whistle his health bar down. There was no dull moments here, giving the fight flow a 95%. The balance, overall, again, great. Nothing felt too unfair. The timings of dodging his AoE and smash attacks were telegraphed, so he could dodge in time, and overall, just a very balanced boss. 90%. Overall, this boss has a ranking of 9 out of 10, giving it a comfortable A tier placement. Next on our hit list is the Sentient Pest, a combination of a massive moth and a behemoth of a scorpion dealing magic and physical damage respectively, synergizing in pain and dust. Weak to fire, these two aim to irritate the Nightfarers like no other. For teaming up with Americans, I was playing with randoms at the time, and I wasn't really recording, but I ended up recording the boss fight. The fight really consisted on the team splitting between tanking on the Moth and the Scorpion. Now I was in the Scorpion duty. It seemed too easy to be true, to be honest. The Scorpion fella had a highly telegraphed attacks easily dodged, but then just shrunk into a shell where he took barely any damage. This fight is just that, until the second phase. The second phase, well, let's get into that. This Scorpion fella bursts from the ground and combines with Moth Guy, who then brings down the rays of the heavens on Helianthe, killing him instantly, then brutally runs down Night King, and then shoots a barrage of missiles my way, and then calls upon the earth below to pierce my ass. Within like 5-10 seconds, so much just happened out of nowhere. From a boring first phase to like this, but now going into the second attempt with my American buddies, I think we know what to do. Day 1 begins with the mountaintops appearing, which hopefully we will be able to pick up to get the second Shifting Earth trophy. Day 1 again, this team was class. We took down the Elder Lion, the Knight's Cavalry, and the Guardian Golem, with also being raided by Margit again, which really didn't pose too much of a problem. The Crystallians were dispatched off quite quickly, and day 1 ended with the hardest boss of the Elden Ring base game. Yeah, this fight was kind of a joke. Really. Day 2 was another great day, killing the Black Knife Assassin and the Fire Monk before scaling the mountain. Compared to the crater, the mountaintop was quite barren. We scaled up, not really encountering anything, crossed this chain and got raided by the Ice Dragon. We were getting absolutely touched, so left and found the top of the mountain without any struggle really. Picking up this, completed the mountaintop and earned our 14th trophy. Day 2's boss was again quite boring, just being the draconic tree sentinel from the first game. It was again really simple to take them down. proving my point yet again that your experience of the game will be determined by your teammates. Now, it's time to take on the Sentient Pest again in round 2. This time, on our team was 2 archers. They could take down the moth and I could take on the scorpion, and this proved to be a diabolical setup. They emerged from the sky and earth and I got to swing in. It was going well until bro shielded for a full minute. Well, at least he couldn't attack me. Phase 1 was overall just the same, just really easy. I was too happy avoiding the moth, bro. I have a phobia of moths, I can't stand them. But from the start of Phase 2, at least we knew what to expect this time. He charged me down whilst the moth summoned the Ray of Heavens down, but luckily, my fellow Americans dodged it like pros. After that initial mad burst, they became more stationary, using both magic and stomps, where we all pummeled them. They are incredibly resistant, and in my case, resistance to bleed is very hard to deal with. Phase 2, outside of the charge and gatling of magic arrows, is just very simple. Just dodge the stomps and stay close to him. However, the Ray of God and the charge attacks is so hard to deal with regarding my little experience with the game as of now, but with our patience and persistence, we whittled him down with little issue and finally killed the Sentient Pest and earned trophy number 15. Now for ranking the Pest. The boss design being 2 bugs working together is quite unique and cool. Them being both on their own and combining together to become more powerful in Phase 2 is so synergistic and incredible to watch. I'd say to give the design an 85%. Personally, I just hate moths, so minus 15%. Nah, I'm kidding. I just think the moth is kind of basic. The scorpion guy is kind of cool. The flow here is where I had issue with the boss. He starts off very slow, with the scorpion shielding himself for very long periods of time. I can't really justify a reason for him doing this. It just felt pointless, really, and a waste of time. Phase 2's barrage is at breakneck pace, but it then slows down again. Flow is just inconsistent, and for that reason, I'm giving it a 60%. For the balance and difficulty, in reality, it's quite easy, but only if you have archers in my case. I know you can just kind of select a ranged character and be fine. Without being able to communicate with randoms, as most people playing this game are unable to do, this fight will be so annoying. Bosses that just shield themselves and fly away are just so lazy for me, and for this reason, I'm going a 60% here. Overall, the Sentient Pest gets a 68%. Putting it in the D tier, unfortunately. For our next raid, this will be the Augur. This is a giant floating elden beast, but blue. A floating slug with the power of sleep, this ability puts you to sleep in-game and in real life. This floating behemoth of boredom is a patience fight like no other, and to conquer it, me and my American brothers must come together with lightning weapons and caffeine. Day 1 we beat not 1, but 2 groups of Oracle envoys to death, and after grabbing a flask upgrade we beat this plant to death as well, and followed our brutal expedition, killing an ancient hero of Zamor and the Gaping Dragon again. These bosses are now becoming quite tedious, as almost every run is becoming extremely similar, and with this Gaping Dragon rearing his ugly head every run, yeah, it gets quite repetitive. And the main criticism of this game is that it gets extremely repetitive, and I can't enforce how true that is, and it is just one of the game's flaws, but hopefully in the future with new updates, might get some new bosses. Hopefully. 2 started off by murdering a group of beastmen, a frenzied troll, and some snowfield trolls, getting to level 13 before the end of Day 2, the best level so far. Day 2's boss was yet another Elden Ring boss, the Falling Star Beast. This guy was tough, but not enough for a team of UK sarcasm and American freedom. The Augur came in at Day 3 with an elegant dance, and also spewed out little celestial squid guys, who may or may not be as innocent as they appear.
Oh, these aren't homemade, they were made in a factory. A bomb factory. They're bombs.
The Augur just didn't want to stay near us for more than 5 seconds, just flying away and shooting a brine of goo at our direction. This boss takes my hate for the Sentient Pest flying away to a new fucking level. This motherfucker is a love child of the Elden Beast and avoiding child support, and he's only inherited the annoying parts of the Elden Beast. It's not even like it's hard, it just flies away. So you can't really damage it if you're a melee character like me. Patience is what we need, and it's something I didn't have. So we were just beelining it every time to the boss and just kept running away. Luckily, our archers were able to get poke damage consistently, so thank God for those guys. The Augur also summoned hands up from the ground to come and slap us up, which wasn't helpful. Killing these hands and the squids caused the orbs to fly at the Augur and damage it. Well, the damage was literally minuscule. And I'm not kidding, this fight actually almost made me fall asleep. But yeah, this fight just went on for too long for my liking and wasn't even hard. Until the Augur decided to drop a tactical nuke in the form of an unidentifiable slow squid. Luckily, my wolf form was enough to revive them and chip away at the Augur for an extra 5 minutes. And finally, this 20-minute fight came to a close, earning the Augur trophy as well as for defeating 3 Night Lords in a row. For ranking the Augur, starting with design, it's honestly just an Elden Beast reskin, but with tentacles. It's not really too complex. It's just a gradient of white and blue with little cracks littered about it. Motherfucker is just designed to be annoying. and just does not hit like the other bosses in this game. Honestly, 50%, and that's me being generous. The fight flow, oh my god. Like I said before, this boss just flies away and is slow as hell and just not even challenging. I can't give the flow above a 20%, it's that bad. For difficulty / balance, it's not hard at all. Just be patient and shoot it with ranged characters. To be honest, I don't want to speak about this monstrosity of a boss any longer. The difficulty and balance comes in at no more than a 40%, and overall this boss ranks at a 33%. Not even being on the fucking tier list is that bad, coming in at a new low on the F tier. Look at the round table. Now having defeated 4 bosses, we unlock the Night Aspect Raid, essentially the final boss, and after that getting another trophy, being our 18th in total. For this next raid, because my American people went to sleep, I again used Discord, and instead of the USA, we went European, and got some fellas from the Netherlands, one of whom, Mert, is an absolute goat, may I add. This next raid is the Dark Drift Knight, a half-man, half-horse weapon, hacking ridiculous amounts of strength and speed. One of the game's most aggressive bosses, this equestrian monster needs to spec our builds directly into lightning, so to win, we gotta give him our rods. The first day, we finish off some Church Invaders and the Mausoleum Knight, beastmen of Farum Azula, and come across this special jail. This jail will be something the game considers an oldest jail, which is a special kind of jail, which I think is the hardest jail there is or something, and in my case was the Godskin Duo, which is also from the Elden Ring base game, and was one of the most infuriating bosses for me personally, because in this base game, this boss solo was nuts. But in this run, just hacking and slashing at this contrasting duo proved to be rather easy with 3 people. As they extended and did their thing, we just kept wailing on them with attacks, and just kept staggering the skinny one, and bro couldn't do shit about it. We took down Skinny Steve and then finished off Larger Larry, and then ended up getting our 19th trophy for beating the oldest jail. The rest of day 1 was pretty steady, taking down again the ancient heroes of Zamor, who I'm getting quite tired of, as well as fighting the gaping dragon for the 5th time or something. Starting day 2 at level 9 was huge, as it allowed us to quickly clear day 2's itinerary, being the Lord Sworn Captain, Beastmen to up our lightning builds where I actually got a lightning katana which would be huge, some Oracle Envoys, and a surprisingly tough Beldarian Hunter. Ending day 2 was my favourite boss from the first Souls game I played. Oh shit, Nameless King, let's fucking go, man. If this moveset is from Dark Souls 3, well, this is going to be bloody easy. It's like I mastered this fight. Hacking the dragon down, this was not the end of the fight, as now we had to take the king head on. This guy is an amazing boss, being an actual tank as well as a lightning god. We were all doing pretty well as we had all beaten Dark Souls 3, and somehow one of my teammates just obliterated the final slither of health, finishing day 2, and an incredible fight. Now it's time for the Dark Drift Knight. This fella drops into the arena like a meteor and wastes no time aggroing us. The attacks in phase 1 were just spear lunges, stomp and jump attacks, all fairly simple to avoid. However, he has a charge up attack. Without adequate lightning damage, this becomes a problem. Luckily, our lightning builds made quick work and broke his stance immediately. Like I said, weaknesses in this game increase stagger chance, which in this game is actually vital. You need this to do well. Jesus Christ, this guy's so fucking fast. Holy shit. We were just acing this fight. Like, every time he did a charge, we just broke his stats immediately and just beat him so hard, with my lightning katana just dealing so much bleed damage as well. However, phase 2 happened, where his stub in his arm grows into a Gundyr-style abomination of dark, which plunges into the ground, dealing insane damage. We keep persevering, getting a stagger and getting him quite low. We keep slashing away, staggering him and perfectly yet again, and almost reach the end of the fight. Come on. Oh, he's so low, please. Fucking get in. It's a mad boss fight, man, let's go. Beating 4 gold got us our 20th trophy. And now ranking this Dark Drift Knight. For design, honestly, a centaur wielding the power of darkness. 90%. Such a cool design with his utter ruthlessness and aggression just complementing the dynamics so well. Fight flow was immaculate. Are my favourites in the entire game, probably. I can't really say anything bad about this one, just simply 100%. For the balance and difficulty, again, he is so aggressive. The fight felt really fair. With 3 people, the aggression is fine and you can just easily dodge the big slam attacks. Some holy attacks aren't as easily dodgeable, but they're telegraphed well. Again, I can't really say anything here is unfair or unbalanced, giving it a 95%. This gives the Dark Drift Knight our first S ranking of the video, being a solid 9.5 out of 10. So far, now being quite deep into this game, I have to say I quite like it, but it does have a lot of shortcomings. The main one being the enemy variety, like there's just not enough. It's all just Elden Ring recycled enemies, to be honest. I'm getting quite tired of the ancient heroes of Zamor and bloody beastmen all the time. These fights are just too common. It's like the boss pool is just not enough for the game like this. And also the matchmaking, like without Discord, bro, I would be in pain. Your enjoyment of this game heavily relies on the people you're with, and if you can't kind of orchestrate that, if you're playing solo, that's hard as well. So like the matchmaking in this game really is a bit of an issue. But yeah, in the future with updates and additions, this game will become much better, I imagine. And it does have potential to become something really special. The next raid was the Fissure in the Fog, a dragon with 4 wings and more or less 4 health bars. This dragon specializes in ice, breathing ice out instead of fire and having an unbelievable amount of aura. We're going to need to spec into fire to take down this big old beast, and with a new team of Austrian and South African, this matchup posed a big threat to this dragon. Skipping day 1 because it's the same as every day 1 in this game. Day 2 we take down these knight imbued archers and raider as well as a bell-bearing hunter before going into our third shifting earth, the Rotted Woods. This shifting earth is by far the most annoying, filled with scarlet rot everywhere, and the annoying bug fellas from the base game are here and just are so annoying. However, this area is absolutely filled to the brim with bosses, so after taking down the first tree sentinel, we found this glowing bulb, which actually turned out to be the secret of the Rotted Woods, earning a trophy. However, this reward actually gave us immunity to the rot as well as more health, which is a huge buff in this area, allows us to farm a lot of XP from taking down the bosses, one of which was the Ancestor Spirit, also from the Elden Ring base game, and day 2 ended with yet another tree sentinel fight. I do want to show like everything about my plat journey, but a lot of it is just boring recycled bosses. So I'm cutting out a lot of it, I hope that's fine. Now on to the Fissure. The fight starts in a fog-filled arena with this ominous shadow peering through. Caligo, the Miasma of Night, is one of the most cool dragon bosses in that entire of the Sold series. And luckily, I got the Blasphemous Blade, so the fire damage was unreal against it. The fire damage gave this boss weakness and in my opinion was crucial to getting this fight done. Caligo didn't really do much. Letting my guard down, I got frost blasted big time and almost got frostbite, which almost took me out. After whacking it some more, the arena went foggy again, but there was an ominous cracking coming from above, so we ran in the opposite direction, and this attack is one of the most incredible scenes in Souls. A sky of ice descends and crashes, revealing the absolute scale of this boss arena. This boss is just unreal. After whacking it some more, phase 2 begins, with a beacon of frost emerging from Caligo and turns the entire arena into a glacial mat. Funnily enough, the classic strategy of stay under and beat the dragon to death does work like a charm. Whacking the boss and somehow rolling through and getting iframes and literal cold air worked, until this boss unleashed its secret strategy of becoming a literal bomb jet and carpet bombing our entire team with the icicle size of a bus. With the final stretch of the fight nearing, we absolutely swung for the fields and unleashed the wolf inside again and managed to get the job done. A frost dragon with 4 wings and the ability to do a bombing run like a bloody Lockheed Martin jet. It's so badass. And the aura farming is just unmatched. So for me, 95%. Fire flow, it's a bit stop-start, but a lot of the time Caligo is stationary, but when he's not, the flow is just incredible. However, this inconsistency is quite reminiscent of older FromSoftware Dragon fights, and in the end I got to rank the flow about a 70%. For difficulty and balance, this boss has a health bar unmatched by any other boss. If it wasn't for our fire build, I think I'd still be in this boss fight currently, but the health bar is representative of a massive dragon I guess, so it's not too bad. The moveset isn't too difficult and felt fair, and I genuinely have no complaints for the balance, giving it a 90%. Overall, this boss gets an 8.5 out of 10, placing it in the high B tier. For the final boss, the only Night Lord remaining is the Equilibrious Beast, probably the most unique boss in the game. This Chaos Flame imbued goat boy has a stellar Artois fueled aggression complemented by a twisted chaos magic. This boss is weak to Chaos Flame, which in my build, I don't think I can actually spec into, so it could go either way. Day 1, we kill the Crystallians, Frenzy Flame Troll, and Mausoleum Knight, and end the day with a Dark Souls 1 boss. Seemed to be dim and nice. I haven't actually seen this boy in years. This guy is very weak to bleed surprisingly, and his tail falls off, so this guy, despite the nostalgia, wasn't really challenging at all. In Nightreign, when you know what to do and have a good team, there's literally nothing that can stop you from beating the final boss that I've found. And with a good team, it is probably the least challenging Souls game, but solo, I think this is probably the most challenging one. Day 2, we took out many generic bosses as usual, and ended the day at level 12. Day 3, we get to Libra. This boss fight starts in a way like no other, ever, giving us options, being to expand intellect, get a powerful weapon, gain many levels, or just refusing to make a deal entirely. Each deal, other than the latter, has a catch, making this fight more difficult, so I select refuse and immediately start bonking this boy, and he starts transforming. Libra charges us down and summons Chaos Flame spells for a ranged attack. Unfortunately, I wasn't ready at all, and got beamed from hell, instantly killing me. We charge him down again and deal a good amount of damage, but I get beamed yet again. Bro, I'm actually so shit. My reaction time is like a fucking snail. Libra also has a bubble shield, where we need to break these golden sigils. But if we don't, he powers up and becomes even more aggressive. Luckily we break it, and the Libra is not happy. His moveset of just charging us down is incredibly easy to deal with. It's just the Chaos Flame circles that emerge from the ground that are the main challenge. Just being aware and ready for dodging makes these Chaos attacks so much easier. The rest of the fight is quite steady, as he never really summoned any sigils from the ground again, and this boss never really transitioned into a phase 2. We got the big old gravestone from the ground and just threw everything else we had at him, eventually whistling him down and killing the Equilibrious Beast, earning a trophy. Ranking this Equilibrious Beast is such a strange one for me, I'd say. The design is so unique, like a demonic goat just giving you deals with the devil before a fight is so different, and his unorthodox moveset of Chaos Flame range attacks and aggressive lunges and slams is really cool. This fight is balanced of just being aware of the sigils and dodging them, which is the main challenge for me. His aggressive attacks and slams and stuff were quite dodgeable, and with 3 people this was quite the cakewalk. Design, 85%. The flow of the fight was actually quite good too, beginning with a tense deal, not knowing the rewards, and immediately bursting into a crazed goat figure with no chill is so fun. This fight never really changes pace. Doesn't really have a phase 2, which is a bit of a shame. Despite this, the fight still flows well, and I give this fight an 80% for flow. As for balance and difficulty, I really do believe this fight is balanced so well, and the difficulty changes depending on the deal you make. But without accepting a deal, which is really the only way I can rank this, probably say an 85% again. Overall, this boss gets an 83%, landing nicely in the B tier. Before the final Night Lord, I just helped some friends with some bosses they couldn't really do. But doing this, we actually knocked out some miscellaneous trophies. I got the Trophy Dresser for equipping a new outfit, as well as doing the Equilibrious Beast raid, which is simply just for paying him 35,000 runes. Now moving on to the game's final and most incredible boss, the Knight Aspect. A true embodiment of the knight that the game revolves around, this Knight of Night is a true FromSoft final boss. He has strange movement with sheer aggression and elemental switching. He is weak to Holy, so you must again obtain the power of Jesus Christ to beat this guy. This run was pretty much the same as every other run, who would have guessed, until day 2, where you got to the undead city of Noklateo. The city of the undead is an abandoned and absolutely colossal city. We navigate through this shrouded city, through the sewers and up the jump pad. Then we meet and kill the Black Knight Assassin and approach the main cathedral, where we are greeted with the Natural Born of the Void, another base game regen. This fight is identical to the base game. The 3 of us just wailed on him, dodged his gravity attacks, and took him down with relative ease. I wish I could play this up to say that it was harder than it was. Just wasn't though. Taking him down, we get the final secret of the Shifting Earth, and get the trophy for finding the secret of Noklateo, and the final trophies for getting all 4 Shifting Earth secrets. The run where we got Noklateo, we died at the end of day 2, so this is a completely different run. The true fight begins in phase 2, where he emerges from the darkness with a glowing dark sword and some stellar artois fueled aggression. His attacks are brutally powerful and persistent, 4 armors wielding weapons that absolutely decimate your health bar. His screen usually follows a flurry of attacks, with his unorthodox movement making it extremely hard to predict and dodge his attacks. Another attack is making the whole arena dark and sending elemental sparks our way, which is so annoying to try to avoid because they home in on you. In second half of phase 2 is where this shit gets ridiculous. This YN cuts the sky open with his sword revealing an elemental rift and slams down, exploding the ground around the entire arena. This guy is fucking nuts and one of the most visually incredible fights in Soul's history. After that, he resumes his aggression and slams down yet again. His constant aggression with the ground below also exploding often at intervals is just honestly so much to bear for the first round fight. All in all, we just can't keep up and succumb to his onslaught. I go yet again at midnight with the randos Bango and Barlog, where pretty much the same happens despite us being at level 14, with his swings and the ground dealing damage making me succumb to madness and I lose yet again. This next attempt results in a loss far quicker, as I don't believe Rice Cake or Mr. Waffles and I at the time were up to the occasion. After a new day breaks, I do some more runs with friends to kinda refresh, before attempting Healstore again. During this time, I achieved the trophy set and Steadfast for achieving an armory of high rarity. This next run, we summoned the power of South Africa and the Netherlands with us yet again. Day 1 was pretty easy, but we got one of the best loot drops for Hjolstar, the Sacred Relic Sword, a holy damage legendary sword that buffed holy damage as well. It couldn't actually get any better than this. Ending day 1 as well was the Smelter Demon, a lovely surprise from the Dark Souls 2 boss invoked countless nostalgia, as Dark Souls 2 is one of my underrated faves. Day 2 was more grinding, culminating in killing a magma worm. Now, Hunter Hjolstar again. His days of bullying me were now over. With our holy build being stacked between all 3 of us, we had a genuine good chance. Our game plan was just barrage him with the holy love of Jesus Christ, lowering his defenses and attack power. It worked really well. We were dominating him in phase 1, but as usual, Phase 2 would be a major challenge. Both teammates went down really quick, so we almost bottled the run. However, Wolfman is the best reviving tool in this game, so we got out of that pickle unscathed. We kept blasting him with holy damage, and it was working so well, something I really think we missed in the other runs. But now it was time for his rift attacks, this time Poison Edition. As you can see, it's not just him attacking. The ground is exploding with poison damage as well. Keeping track of both of these when you are being aggroed is just incredibly hard, yet is still doable. Luckily, when we needed, we got the stagger and dealt a barrage of holy love, dealing incredible damage. This was looking like it could be the run until he unleashed an onslaught of slashes in close proximity and slammed down, taking down my teammate and leaving me poisoned on 1 HP. Luckily, Wolfform came in clutch yet again, and we neared the end, finally took down Healstall, the Night Lord, giving us the trophy Night Aspect, and Night Lord Slayer for beating all Night Lords. Post-fight, we are teleported to the dilapidated Round Table Hole. This place was barren and bleak, and at the end is this dried up corpse, who we then give the Night Lord's soul, which then consumes us and cures the Eternal Night, ending the game. Ending the game gets us a trophy, Dawn. Now, ranking Healstall. Design 100%. No questions asked. This unpredictable, unorthodox movement with a design straight out of Berserk, complemented by numerous elemental damage, just bro. This guy's no questions asked, 100%. For fight flow, 100% again. This guy's perfect when it comes to flow. He's constantly on your back, so you must be ready at all times and expect his attacks, with everything being dodgeable as long as you are ready. For difficulty, for a final boss, this is perfect, as it is a perfect culmination of the game. It's by far the hardest Night Lord, however still feels fair, other than maybe the ground attacking, which kind of brings it down a tad. For me, 95%. Overall, this boss is incredible and is clearly the #1 pick for the best boss in the game. The remaining trophies before the platinum are get a win with every character, get level 15, get the Augur and Sentient Pest raids, and also get all vessels. Luckily, with the final boss now done, I just had to buy these vessels, and the vessel trophy popped. Following that, I had to get a win with every Night Lord, and whilst doing that, I felt all other trophies would pop naturally. Whilst getting the Wilder done, level 15 was finally achieved, leaving us with only 3 trophies left. The Wilder is one of your more balanced characters, with a Bastard Sword as your main pick, and is a very nice and versatile character. The Guardian was more of a tanky defensive character, focusing on shielding and defensive team support. He's probably one of the most boring ones actually, but a solid team pick nonetheless. The Archer is probably one of the game's most strong picks. His ranged attacks mean constant damage with little risk, with his abilities dealing massive damage. And in this game, I think each team should at least have 1 Archer. The Duchess is one of the most fun characters in this game, specialising in dodging and quick dagger attacks. It has such a high skill ceiling and is incredibly solid to play. The Raider is the strength character. His focus is on hammers and slamming them down onto the enemies. His sheer power and stagger potential making him a great team pick, being able to tank incredible amounts of damage and deal even more of it. The Revenant is another fun character, focusing on summons. Being able to sort of get an extra teammate in your summons whilst also being able to be up close and deal damage to bosses is such a great way to play the game. The Executioner, I already have wins on him, but my guy combines Sekiro with Elden Ring and lets you release the wolf inside you. Finally, the Recluse, my least favourite character in this game. It is simply just a ranged mage character and it is so weak to damage and can barely dodge, and for me it just didn't feel right. But we actually got a win on the Recluse. Getting this got us the Champion's Path trophy. Now, the only trophies remaining were the raid ones. I just played runs, praying to the gods that I would got them. The Sentient Pest raid came rather fast actually. I had 3 in a row at one point, where these descending locusts stole our levels and then flew off. Following them though, we found the evil moth and squashed it quickly, earning the Sentient Pest raid trophy. But the Augur raid, my fucking god, I spent an extra 30 hours, no joke, just mindlessly playing runs and it just never came. These trophies, to my knowledge, were just RNG, so there's nothing I really could have done. And this trophy is the reason this game is coming so bloody late, because I almost gave up. Until I found a Reddit post, funnily enough. The post said that if I just kept resetting a Sentient Pest run, looking for this specific arrangement of buildings, the raid would happen, as Elden Ring maps were seeded. And being honest, I thought this was utter bullshit, but I was desperate. I went solo. I kept resetting until I got that seed. I progressed through, getting strong enough to where I believe I could kill the Augur, and lo and fucking behold, it actually spawned. And this most boring boss of the game is an incredibly anticlimactic way to end this platinum journey, but without real trouble. We killed it, got the Typhoon trophy, and the fucking platinum trophy. Overall, this game is amazing, but the repetitive bosses and maps just keep it from getting to that upper echelon. But with more updates and boss being added, this game's ceiling is sky high. Thanks for watching, take care.